A state where every stone has a story and every temple whispers mysteries of the century past. Today's guest is a voice that brings Bhubaneswar's soul to life. He doesn't just tell stories, he resurrects history itself. Welcoming to the show of Tea with Tanya, Mr. Jeetu Mishra. Namaskar, sir. Welcome
Namaskar,
to the
Taniya.
show. Jeetu, sir, I want you to tell our audience who exactly is Mr. Jeetu Mishra and why did I introduce you as a storyteller?
Okay. Uh, I am Jitu Mishra. I used to be a student of archaeology, and I haven't done much of academic archaeology since last 2.5 decades, but I have involved myself in various fields, be it education, school education, or storytelling, or writing, or as a heritage professional. So I lived in different cities of India, mostly in Ahmedabad, where the place which transformed me what I am today. And since last 7 years, I am in Bhubaneswar. I came here in 2018, and when I came here first, I had traveled across the country because I used to work with a company, educational company before. But in 2016, I quit my job and started a startup called Virasat Foundation, which was registered in Ahmedabad. The whole objective was to, bring in a change in the way history is taught in schools. And I did some work, and that was the time, for almost 2.5 years. I traveled extensively because there was no, I had a lot of freedom. There was no pressure from office because I did not have to report anyone, and I was also given fellowship by Wipro. So and whatever money I had saved, and I used that to travel across the country, from Arunachal to Rajasthan, from Himachal to Tamil Nadu, and not the places which are regular tourist places, like where people go as travelers or tourists. I went to all the offbeat places and met a lot of people, understood lands, geography, people, and wildlife. Of course, wildlife is not my forte, but then I discovered a lot of stories, and then using my experience in school education, because I was not directly in with schools, but when I was interacting with teachers and children, so they would also ask me different types of questions. So academicians, what they do, they would not be able to come down to the level of the children or common people. They have their own way of communicating, and that would not probably interest everyone. So I developed that skill
Mm-hmm.
of how to connect with uh,
Kids.
historical places, heritage sites, or a particular geographical landscape, or even wildlife, people, communities. So that, I think, transformed me as a storyteller. You will not believe, when I went to Delhi from Pune, that was in early 2000. I met a lot of people, and that time I started thinking of writing stories on India's past. So Indus Valley Civilization was one of my favorite subjects. I wrote a book called Adi, where a young protagonist, he's traveled from his village and how he meets a girl, they fall in love. It's a And all my stories are actually love stories. So they meet and at city of Mohenjo-daro. But when I started writing, it took almost 10 years, 10 to 12 years, because every time it was coming in a very academic, boring language. There was no, flesh and blood I was adding to the story. And so to a lot of people, they also became my critic. And Mr. Pai, Anand Pai, who was the founder of Amar Chitra Katha, I had the opportunity to meet him, and he was almost ready to publish with his suggestions, but he passed away after I met. So it did not work out. Then, but when I look at my first novel, I also, laugh at myself that how I used to struggle and what kind of stories I wrote. But then over a period of time, I evolved as a storyteller. Whenever I go to a place or try to understand that place with lot of silence, I be with myself. I don't go with people. I usually go with myself, solo travel, and meet people, and fascinates me. Every aspects of life fascinates me. I'll just give you an example if it is not boring you. I mean, just 1 or 2 minutes. There is a village in Kandhamar in Belgaum region where the castor seeds they were like drying.
Uh-huh.
The women, the village women, the Kandha women, Kutia Kandha women, and they are one of the PVG tribes. Very remote village. There was now electricity is there, but I think 10 years back there was nothing.
No,
There was no
nothing.
code road. There was no road. Nothing was there. So what happened? I was very curious, and one elderly man he told me he demonstrated actually, how they get light using that castor seeds, and
Okay.
that gives them light for 10 to 20 minutes, and that is enough for them. When they go in the early morning, they don't need light. At the time of sunrise, they go to the hilltop where they work throughout the day. They carry something, some food with them, and by the time they return, it is almost 5:30 in the evening at the time of sunset, and cooking was already done. So only for eating, dinner, early dinner. They don't eat
Wait
at
till late night. Correct.
late night. They need light,
Mm.
and they use this castor seed. They used to do. Now they, of course, there is electricity, but they used to do that. And they used to, this use this stone
Mm-hmm.
for fire,
Okay.
and they would need 20 minutes after the dinner is over. They would all go to sleep. That is the day's
Routine.
routine, and then they why would no there was no need of light.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very curious, and I thought that this is the best way to conserve energy. So
So,
how much
how exactly did they use the
the
castor
wisdom, the
seeds?
indigenous wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
and that somehow I have written, this is one of my books, the mountain books. This chapter is, one of these chapter is that on this topic. So these are the stories that excite me,
Mm-hmm.
and I learn from people about the wisdom, their indigenous knowledge system, their traditional wisdoms, and how these are crucial for today's world. I mean, be it the agriculture, food security, or energy conservations. When we talk about, they are not bothered about what is happening between Russia and Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. These people are fighting for their bread and butter.
Yeah, and they know and perfectly. But of course, now because of the pressure of market, and also the young generations are getting trapped into this
Corporate life,
corporate, not corporate life, I would say, because they are moving out of their village for
better jobs.
better jobs and all. But otherwise, life is very simple, and they know how to solve their problems in their daily life. So these are the stories that attract me, and I think this is how I
You became
evolved
a
as a storyteller.
storyteller. But may I ask you just once, like, how exactly did these, Kutia Kondha women or the men who went to,
Yeah.
went atop the hill to get the work done, how exactly did they use the castor seeds to get light for 10-20 minutes and their business was done?
Castor seeds, they grow in their field,
Correct?
in the hilltop also. There is
Correct?
very limited field. They grow. I don't know when it was introduced,
Mm-hmm.
but they have been traditionally cultivating turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
The whole ritual, the life revolves around turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my forthcoming novel, The Last Maria, which I talk about the entire, the
Turmeric
turmeric and
cultivation.
the not directly with the sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
The buffalo earlier used to be human sacrifice, but later it was replaced with buffalo sacrifice, which is still going on. But I talk in a very different way, in a very
Mm-hmm.
subtle way. So turmeric, sorry, castor, they are growing. They have been growing for how long, I don't know. But what this gentleman told me,
Mm-hmm.
he was, I think, 60, 65 years old. He told me that this is how, I did not ask actually, since how
What exactly is the mechanism of
mechanism.
getting using the castor
Yes,
as a replacement of electricity, right?
yes. Now they are using electricity.
Right. But
But he
way
remembers,
back,
like he
yes,
remembers, he told me this story that this is how his forefathers used to live,
work without
work without
electricity.
electricity.
Yes, yes, I understand, right. Now, I've been hearing about you for a while in my circle and, in all in good way and in a very positive light. And one of the things that really appealed me about you was your expertise, your knowledge, your curiosity, and your subject matter expertise around and on Chausathi Yogini. So I would be thrilled and delighted if you could please tell our audience what exactly is Chausathi Yogini and what kind of importance does it hold.
Before I start telling about Chausath Yogini, let me tell you something about the concept of Mother Goddess.
Right.
Because Chausath Yogini is again dedicated to Mother Goddess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at our human journey,
Mm-hmm.
it was around 40 to 50,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are all suffering through climate change, right? Because the world is becoming warmer,
Harsher and yes.
warmer, and also the sea level is rising. The same thing also happened some 60,000 years ago, 50, 60,000 years. Because when there is a slight tiltation of Earth's axis, and all this kind of problem happens. So there is, there is no proper balance. So since last 10,000 years, the world has remained more or less stable, the climate. That is why humanity has evolved.
Okay.
So when 60,000 years before, when the humans had migrated out of Africa and they had spread across Europe, India as well, and even Australia, not Americas. So there was an extreme climate change. The temperature had brought down to minus 70 degree Celsius.
Okay.
So people had no idea. They thought that there is something supernatural power is causing this problem. And that is the time when the beliefs in Mother God is evolved, and you start getting throughout the archaeological context from Siberia in the east to Spain and Portugal in the west on the Atlantic coast. You have this statue of Mother Goddess called Statue of Venus,
Okay.
and it's a female.
It's a female.
Yeah. Uh, and what we have the Indian version called Lajja Gauri that came much later,
Mm-hmm.
again associated with fertility called Lajja Gauri. But I'm talking about this Venus, statue of Venus throughout Europe. It was found at the same time because they did not cope up with this
With the
extreme
change
climate.
in climate, yes.
At the same time, if you go to the caves in France
Mm-hmm.
and also Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Altamira, for example, in Spain, so you have the paintings, rock paintings
Mm-hmm.
of various animals,
Mm-hmm.
birds, humans also. And at such locales where it would be very difficult to reach your hand.
Okay.
In some of the most
Highest of.
highest or secluded corners of the caves,
Okay.
where which is not easily accessible by
Okay.
humans. But there they could go and did, and probably some shamanic activities also happened.
Okay. By shamanic, you mean occult practices.
Occult practices. That is how the rock paintings were, drawn. And at the same time, you also start getting flute for the
Okay. Okay. The
musical
musical instrument. Okay.
That also we get because they were also performing some kind of
Okay.
musical performance.
Ballads or something like that. Yes.
Ballads I would not say, but some kind of solo music, flute, very earthy. And so this is the beginning. And around 40,000 years ago, the life, people started believing after life, after death. There were a lot of questions.
What happens?
What happens after death? So in a site in Israel, Neanderthal, that's the proto-humans,
Mm-hmm.
not Homo sapiens, we have these evidence of pollens, like flowers were offered
Okay.
to the deceased.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's a very regular knowledge. It's a very open knowledge that
Right.
Neanderthals were perhaps the first hominids to be able to use
Yes, right.
flowers for burial purposes.
So
Yes.
that we have the evidence at Israel. So this is the story, and then there is a site called Göbekli Tepe in Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
where we have a circular temple for the
Okay.
first time 7,000 years before, like what you have at Hirapur Yogini Temple or Ranipur Charial Temple at Balangir. Circular temple where you have open to sky,
Right.
and there are also strange, weird and looking animals
Okay.
in different kind of actions.
Mm-hmm.
Very dynamic site, and also we have found other kind of evidences, and that suggests, archaeology suggests that would be possibly one of the earliest temples in the human
Civilization,
human
yes.
journey, not civilizations, human journey. Civilizations came much later.
Okay.
And then coming to India, I think we had these kind of circular structures to begin with,
Okay.
whether it was a fire altar
Mm-hmm.
or a Buddhist stupa
Okay.
or a megalithic burial,
Mm-hmm.
circular burials.
Mm-hmm.
So circle was somehow
We
very
associated with it, yes.
associated, the beginning of architecture,
Mm-hmm.
something built in.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably used in the Yogini temples were spread out all over the country,
Correct.
but only 4 or 5 are remain today.
Mm-hmm.
And Odisha has the privilege of having two.
True.
Okay. Now, again coming, like when we say about Hinduism, like 32 crores gods and goddesses. Actually, there are no 32 crores and gods and goddesses. Every community, ethnic community in India, you have a
Particular category of your own gods.
god. Kuldevta, what we say.
Kuldevta.
Kuldevta
Kuldevi,
or Kuldevi,
Kuldevta.
whatever, Kuldevti, Kuldevi. So every community, whether it is a Lohar community or it is any community,
Any
they would have
community.
their own deity. Even Odisha, you will go to anywhere like, Damdamani or Kalijai or you go, you will find a local deity.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
in most of them, in Hinduism, in 95%, I would say, Vishnu, Shiva are the minor deities. It is the local deities, the
That
Kuldevtas,
rule the
they
community.
dominate over and
Yes.
many of them were actually, living entities
Yes,
in
yes,
the past.
yes.
For example, if you go to Rajasthan or Gujarat, you would hear that many of these heroes,
Mm-hmm.
they died during battle
Mm-hmm.
while saving animals, the
Correct.
domestic cattle,
The Vaishnavs, huh?
huh. Rajputs even,
Rajputs even.
huh. Rajputs, mostly Rajputs. Now, what happened in some point of time, these local deities, the Kul Devis, they came together,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially in the places which were, located in the trade routes or not very far from the capitals.
Correct.
I mean, during the historical time, the capitals or trading towns or port towns. So they became very well established, and they came together and associated with Yogini cult.
Mm-hmm.
And Yogini also, like, you would have watched this movie, Sarukh Khan and Rani Mukherjee, Pehli,
Paheli, yes.
Amul Palekar director.
Mm-hmm.
That's again revolved around a booth and,
Yes, yes, of course. How he takes over
right.
her husband, and
Huh.
he's everything that she wanted
Right.
in a husband, yes.
So if you read literature, medieval literature, you'll find a lot of these kinds of stories like, the Yogini come in the night and take different shapes. Sometimes a parrot, sometimes a monkey, sometimes a peacock, sometimes a weird animal. And sometimes they are malevolent, sometimes they are benevolent.
Okay.
Huh.
Depends on the spirit
Depend on the
itself.
situations, depend on the. So many of these stories evolved.
Mhm.
How far they are true, I don't know, but they are evolved. Even like, of course, today now, like when I recall my childhood, I would keep hearing about these kind of stories. You don't go in this path during the evening. When we
Yes.
would go to our village,
Especially
ancestral
the rural
village.
legends,
Huh.
mired with these kind of
Yeah.
mysteries, yes.
The legends, वहाँ भूत रहता है, ये डायन रहता है, ये सब. So these are the things which were all part of the people's imaginations.
And we all grew up with them, yes.
Yeah, we grew up then. I think this was the fundamental concept of Yogini Temple.
Okay, but why Chausathi?
The 64, then they became part of Hinduization, the
Okay.
formal Hinduizations, because 64 Bhairavas
And so 64
and
counterparts, female counterparts.
And it looks like a yoni pit.
Unipit, yes. The circular open to the sky. Looks like an amphitheater, yes.
Yes. So they became, that is how, the idea of, since Bhubaneswar was a major Saivite center, temple town in the medieval period, 9th, 10th century. So it also had a Yogini temple, not very close to it, but not even very far from it. So, in a very remote, secluded place. And people in 1950s, when it was discovered by late Kedarnath Mahapatra, they had fear to go there.
Mm-hmm. Like, what are these statues and why
Huh.
they are 64 and they don't
A
look
lot of
anything
tantric
like our
practice were
gods?
happening also. That's what the locals say. If you ask some of the elderly people, they would say that this is how the scene was. But now it has gone,
Changed
changed,
completely,
completely
yes.
changed. It has become one of the major tourist sites,
Yes, a lot
and
of people flock there,
lot
yes.
of even we also take our guests there. So this is how is the story of Chausath Yogini.
So, Chausathi Yogini is nothing but, if I sum up everything that we have discussed so far, they're nothing but, female deity forms of, counterparts of the Chausathi or
Yeah,
64 Vairavas.
yeah,
And because Bhubaneswar was one of those
major
early
major
Shaivite
Sevite centers.
centers, so it was to commemorate that, right? But what importance does Chausathi Yogini hold for modern Bhubaneswar now?
For modern Bhubaneswar, because it is a for the tourism, it is a very unusual temple
Mm-hmm. The
and
shape.
full of divinity. That's what people say, when we take our guests, even foreigners, they see something very divine presence
Mm-hmm.
in the temple. And the way, the locals, especially I have recorded also, a woman would come and cry there every day morning,
Every day.
a local woman. And that is how people are very connected to these deities.
They treat them as their family members,
Member,
right?
huh?
Mm.
Mahamaya temple, they call it. So this is how I think it is connected. And I think in last couple of years, we are again becoming, it's a very difficult question actually, but I think there is some kind of we are actually, moving towards again the religions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, coming like the Hinduization or any kind of religion. I'm not just saying about Hinduizations. I think we have started again, developing faith what we had lost earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that is one of the reasons why this temple is again becoming
A center of
center
attraction,
of
and maybe
attractions.
why it's become a topic of discussion today.
Huh.
I think I have been wanting to visit Chausathi Yogini since the last year out of whim. I don't know what was my calling or inner calling. But it always baffled me, it always surprised me. Like, why would you place 64 women
Hmm.
in a circular motion,
Circular
right?
motion.
With a temple that's, or let's just call it a, architectural structure that stands open to the sky. So it looks a lot like rural mud houses of
Rural
Odisha.
mud houses of Odisha, as well as also because most of our, architectural structures uh, are either circular, associated with either moon or sun.
Sun.
You go to Warli paintings.
Yeah, you see circle in every tribal painting.
Mhm.
I was going through some Australian tribal paintings, some Aborigine Australian paintings, and I saw the exact same patterns, the same sticks, the same dots, and the patterns drawn in the same circle.
Yeah, right.
Like, how has human civilization, or let's just call it the journey of humans into the civilization, how have they come to associate themselves with the symmetry of a circle?
Because when they observe, no, uh,
I think
at moon or
moon
sun,
or sun, yes.
so that is, I think, they were the source of inspirations. And wherever you are, whether you are in Australia or you are in India or you are in,
The sun and moon shine for
or
everybody.
is everywhere, like any of these Indian, I mean, indigenous communities, wherever
Communities.
you are there. So that is how the observation of moon and sun, and Hinduism itself is like life is a circle.
Circle. That's why we have the philosophy of karma.
Yeah.
What
So
you give is
uh,
also what you receive,
yes,
right?
and everything has a birth and death.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I This is what I feel strongly now, that human race is not going to survive maybe another maybe 100 years maximum,
Mm-hmm.
100 or 200 years, because a lot of things are happening. The climate change has become very extreme now. It is going to be more severe in years to come,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are epidemics. Then there are social pressures, because how much population in the earth can take.
Mm-hmm.
so much of deforestation, so much
Hmm.
of pollutions.
Absolutely. I mean, I think every one of us, concur on that we are running out of time and space on Earth, and Earth can only have so much to give us too. Now, this brings me to the next question. Like you mentioned when you introduced yourself as a storyteller and your journey and how you evolved yourself into a storyteller, and how you look back to your first novel and you have a laugh at it, like what were the mistakes you made. But I'm sure, I mean, it even then, by many standards,
It's
it
a
would have done
it's a
wonders.
process. It's an evolution. Yeah.
It's a process. Tell me a folklore that you love to talk about.
Folklore. See, Odisha has very interesting folklores
Mm-hmm.
and the tribal myths.
Mm-hmm.
What we are trying to do is that we are trying to bring out those myths, folklores, in the form of crafts.
Okay.
And I don't know, fingers crossed. Uh, this is the first time when I started looking at Odisha. Odisha is not just confined to the story of Lord Jagannath.
Mm-hmm.
Odisha has layers of stories. You go to Nabrangpur, you go to Nuapada, you go to Malkangiri or Devgarh, anywhere far away from the capital city. You'll find layers of stories. They're very fascinating stories. So, what we have tried to bring out, like the Bhima stories.
Mm-hmm.
Bhima is the Mahabharata hero, the second brother of Pandavas. He is a very important person in the tribal myths.
Okay.
He is the rain bearing god. He is the person who actually brought agriculture, who introduced agriculture. So there are myths. One of them is in the Bonda tribal community.
Okay.
So Bonda probably would know
Yes.
is one of the PVG tribes, and they live in Malkangiri district, a very iconic tribe. So in their folktales or tribal myths, earlier, there were variety. Of course, the Koraput track is known for its diversity of rice, lot of varieties of rice, indigenous rice. So they were not actually cultivated. They were not in the earth.
They
They were
used.
flying.
Okay.
They were flying. And when Bhima came, he, chopped the wings,
Mm-hmm.
and they were brought down.
Oh, I thought they were just, flying around like Poland's, but
Uh,
these grains had real
uh,
wings.
yes.
That's really
They
interesting.
and he clipped his wings,
Mm-hmm.
and they were brought down, and of course with respect, and then agriculture
That is how it started.
started. So this is the myth, very very popular in the Bonda
That is really
culture.
interesting because I have always heard narratives of Bhim as a part of Mahabharata or the Pandava clan as a warrior,
Hmm.
somebody who was
Ha.
masculine, the
Right.
epitome of
Hmm.
masculinity, who would not back down from a fight, who would always have his
Right.
foot out, and that if he's ready to take it down with somebody. But this is absolutely
So
different.
this is a very different kind of myth. The same Bhima, if you go to, Gond tribal community, there is another tribal community who live in Nuapada, mostly in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, but part of them are also there in Western Odisha. So they have a very interesting myths. When I was traveling around, Umarkot of Nabarangpur district and also Kalahandi, I found two post pillars with carvings of a man and a woman face, and close to the forest. I was a little curious to know. Then I asked about them, to the locals. They said that they are referred to as Vima and Bhimi, and
Okay.
they arrange marriage. Vima is supposed to be the rain-bearing god.
Okay.
So when there is no rain happening,
Hmm.
what they do?
They pray to Bhima.
They create a post of
Hmm.
Bhima, and inside, they fill it with cow dung.
Okay.
And when the soul of Bhima gets suffocated,
Hmm.
and he comes out and the rain falls.
Hmm.
I've documented all these stories, Mandara Baja, and both man and woman, they form circles and dance. You probably would have seen Gond
Pictures of,
Gond dance,
yes,
huh?
yes, yes.
So the dance, and after that they arrange the marriage of Bhima with Bhimi.
Okay. Wow, that
So
is.
these are stories which fascinate me more from different parts of Odisha, which are usually not told.
And I think they should be. I mean, no, irrespective of if somebody takes away something from these stories or doesn't, but these stories are part of our heritage.
Yeah.
And does become important to be passed on to the next
Right,
generation,
right.
because we need to know, like, every person has so many different angles to their character.
Hmm.
Bhim, one of the Pandav brothers from
Others.
Mahabharat, also had so many different facets to his
Yes, yes,
personality.
of course, yes.
And if one of them is a rain bearing god, I mean, why not?
Ah.
But tell us, how do you spin these folklores into stories? And when you take people out on heritage walks, heritage walk is also one of
Of
the
course,
things.
Bhubaneswar has different layers of stories.
Hmm.
You don't have these kind of stories. So when you look at temples or even Khandagiri Udayagiri caves, like now I am making a series of small videos, of course, with the help of AI and my storytelling abilities. That when you look at Khandagiri Udayagiri, there are layers of stories. Khandagiri Uday. What we usually come to know, when there is a guided tour, we are told about Kharvela and the Jainism and the Khandagiri Udayagiri caves. But there are stories like if you go to the Rani Gumpha, in the upper story, uh, the first panel start with a group of women, 10
Mm-hmm.
women, headed by the princess.
Okay.
They have gone for a picnic,
Okay.
and unfortunately, subconsciously, they've entered to a place inside the forest, which was a favorite spot for the elephants.
Okay.
And they were, having their fun time,
Mm-hmm.
bathing, the elephants. And these girls, when they went, they were like, they started screaming, and
They got
there was
ambushed, huh?
the boy, their bodyguard also left. So he was also scared. He did not stay there. He left. And this princess was a little brave, and what she did, she took the command, and they all started. They did not have any weapons,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever jewelry ornaments they had, adorned with, so they removed them and started throwing on the elephants.
Okay.
and
Okay.
and you will not believe that there are I have met people, they can stop elephants movement by just raising
The
hand.
hands, yes. It's a very
Huh.
famous and popular notion in
Yeah,
the
this
wildlife,
princess
yes.
also did the same thing, and then finally the elephant left.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, what happened, there was a villain who
Mm.
was looking after this, who was waiting for a chance. Now he saw that no, this princess was alone. Of
Mm.
course, there were other women. This bodyguard had left,
Left.
so he kidnapped her.
Okay.
And then he also, then the bodyguard came in. He started fighting, but he was defeated. And then he took her to a place.
Mm.
That time, Kharavela had come for a hunting expeditions
Okay, the same spot.
to the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And when he shoot his arrow to a deer,
Mm-hmm.
it got wounded
Mm-hmm.
and ran also slowly and reached to the place where the princess
Princess
was
was held
sitting.
captive, yes. Huh.
Of course. And this villain had also left because when he saw Caravella coming, he also had left.
He fled, huh?
He fled. So what happened? Then this, this is the love at first sight, like a Bollywood film.
Okay.
And Caravella, and she becomes Caravella's second queen. So
Okay.
this story is so exciting. Like there are so many such stories. If you look
So
at
there are
Khandagiri
three
Udayagiri,
different things happening at the same time at the
yeah, in the
same
panel.
spot,
Huh.
and they all converge at the same place. And so I can actually imagine when you take out people, or you take out young kids to Khandagiri, Udaygiri, and you tell them these stories when you're taking them around the Rani Gumpha, and you
Yeah.
tell them that this is what happened,
Yeah.
and it must be imprinting on their young minds.
Right, right. And if you just tell them about, this is not our story, our versions, because
Hmm.
this is what Professor
Documented.
late N.K. Sahu, who was a pioneering historian, archaeologist from Vice Chancellor of Sambapur University. He has written a book on Kharvela, done a
Okay.
lot of research.
Okay.
And from his, using his reference,
Hmm.
we are trying to make it more engaging,
Mm-hmm.
with the
But
approach,
keeping the facts
keeping the
aligned.
facts alive.
Mm-hmm. That is fantastic. It is a fantastic thing to do. And if our viewers are watching the coffee table that we have, they can see, a beautiful set of books that you've already written. Tell us a little bit about the books that you've written.
Huh. So I started in 2020 actually, um, 20 or 21, 21. I wrote a small book, I think 60 to 70 pages, on Bhubaneswar, the Lord Shiva Cistern Board. So there was this publisher from Toronto, they're Odias of course. Sunanda Panda and Tanmay Panda. I was connected to them, and they were. And it was also their first project. But I was not very happy with the book. It was just small booklet, and that was the journey. And then when I had come to Odisha in 2018, as I said, I started traveling all over the state without having an agenda. Be it Kalahandi, be it Sundargarh, be it Mayurbhanj, Malkangiri, wherever I went, got chance, using all kinds of modes. Sometimes I would drive, sometimes I would go by government buses, sometimes by train, like all kind of things. And then these stories I started documenting, and that is how Odisha Journeys, this first book came in. Odisha Journeys,
A traveler's tale.
A Traveler's Tale. These are all upbeat stories, which you will not find in any regular travel books. Very different kind of stories, like various myths, various legends. So all these what fascinated me. Then I got because Buddhism was very close to my uh, heart, and I was working on also Buddhism during my Deccan College days. So the book Buddha's Embarrassing Compassion, the second book, that I wrote. Buddha's the second Embarrassing Compassion. That again historical research, archaeological research, and travel. I blend both. And all the Buddhist major important Buddhist sites of Odisha, whether Lalit Ratnagiri, Udayagiri, Dholi, and how these sites were discovered, my personal encounter. So all these things you will find in this book. And then I wrote this book called The Eastern Ghats, um, which has fascinated me the most. The various stories I was telling you about, this castor oil, and there are various kinds of food. There are various kinds of stories. So that became the third book, and the fourth book became the coast. And then I started writing about these fictions. My first one is the Paper and Tides. This is set in Kerala. Paper and Tides is basically about a love story between a Portuguese dreamer who had come all the way from Lisbon to Malabar for spice trade, and how he fell in love with a local girl whose
And this
father
is
was an Arab merchant.
and the background is based in that time.
16th century.
Oh wow.
Just after Columbus,
Had
sorry, not
arrived.
Vasco da Gama, sorry, Vasco da Gama's
Has
discovery.
arrived. Yes.
And then I wrote about this book because I lived in Ahmedabad and I saw the both sides of Ahmedabad. Uh, so whatever I had experienced. So this is called Beyond the Desert into the Heart. A guy from Africa,
Oh, he comes from one desert
Ethiopia,
into
and Ethiopia, sorry,
Ethiopia.
highlands of Ethiopia. He comes to Ahmedabad, where he meets a Jain girl
Girl.
who is a businesswoman, 16th century. Because in my books, you will find the women are the leaders. I mean,
They take this first front seat.
yeah. And how, in a Garba dance, they meet and they evolve. And all of these are transformation. How I see that love is a,
Very transformative process.
transformative process. So this is how. Then the Kalinga loves battlefield. Kalinga loves battlefield set in 3rd century BC. We all know about Kalinga.
How do you stay true to these backgrounds when you write these books? You have
See,
to.
Kalinga loves battlefield had to be lot of imaginations. Other things, at least you have, they are all 500 years old. But Kalinga loves battlefield is 2,300 years old, Asoka's time. But when I traveled in Odisha, I felt that there are a lot of things which have not changed.
Really?
Yeah,
Name
especially
one.
like if you go to Kandhamal or Koraput, I think what perspective you have, how do you see things? Like when I talk about these, sacred groves, concept of forest worship. So they were not changed. They were definitely there in that time.
Okay, so you're looking at nuances of
Yes.
that community.
Today, like for example, even today, there are lot of reports of these human elephant conflicts,
Absolutely.
or even crocodile. Like if you go to Brahmani
In
River,
Bhitarkanika,
Brahman
yes.
Bhitarkanika area, a lot of women die. And if you go to this Belgadia Palace, they have the objects which were found from when the
Crocodile was
crocodile was
killed
killed, hunted
from
by
its
the king,
gut.
from our body. I mean, they were removed. Uh, so at that time, it would have been more common things,
This would have been more frequent.
more frequent, no? Like, and those things. nobody talks when we talk about history. We talk about Kapilendra Dev, we talk about Kharavela, we talk about Ashoka. We don't talk about
We don't talk about their day-to-day
day-to-day
lives.
life, how people were living. I mean,
And that's beautiful.
so
It's beautifully
these
thought.
things, like what is there today, I think they were definitely there. And since I
Back
was
then.
born in 70s, so 70s and 80s world were very different from 2025.
Correct.
You know,
Even
that time
90s
the
was different from
that
2025.
time there was no telephone, no computer, nothing. I mean,
We're not tech savvy yet, yes.
yes, and very Odisha was very rural.
Very rural, yes.
Talking about Bhubaneswar was very rural at that
Hmm.
time, you know. So I have that privilege to go back to my childhood and how
Be able
Odisha
to
was.
see how what has
Odisha was
changed and what has not.
not changed. So these things have come. I mean, I have used like how elephants were actually domesticated. Like
Hmm.
even today, you go like Sundarpada area and like towards IIT Bhubaneswar, that side. There are a lot of these laterite, ponds, which are called Hathidhara Pokhari. So they were used
They,
as hathi for
to capture
capture
elephants.
elephants and domesticate them.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not get any. They are folklores, and but I did not get any records. Then I looked at internet and found how elephants were domesticated in Vietnam, Cambodia, Sri Lanka,
Every other Asian country, yes.
every other Asian countries. They are very well documented in
Mm-hmm.
18th, 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
So those things I started getting into in my book. And pikers, like how were pikers there, Paiko Akhadas, what we today even have. So what was their role, how they were practicing in secluded places surrounded by forest, how kind of, there are a lot of people have written here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So those things I started reimagining, and then put this in the story form.
Right. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm going to take away so much from today's episode. I mean, I have been to so many places in my very limited lifespan till date, but I was never able to see things the way you've seen. You know, you look at something and you start picturing it. How would this have been 1,000 years ago? Let's go back 10,000 years ago. Let's keep going back 20, 30,000 years ago. And then you finally see, oh, perhaps this has never actually changed.
Yeah, there's some things like that have not, those things have not.
Fragments of our day to day lives have actually remained untouched.
Yes, yes.
And this has been such a wholesome and holistic episode. Thank you so much. I mean, our audience, if you're watching this, do let us know how you felt when you heard about the myriads of folklore that Odisha has, the layers of folklore that Bhubaneswar has, different districts of Odisha has. And do let us know in the comment section below how you felt about it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
It's
much.
my pleasure.
I really look forward to talk to you more about these things in the future. And I look forward to be a part of your heritage walk soon.
Definitely, definitely.
And anybody who would like to get connected to Jitu sir can also reply on the comment section below. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And for you guys who are watching us, do give us a like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to put a comment on the section below. Thank you. And until the next episode, take care.